The anime begins with a beautiful girl named Yuna. We see her saying goodbye to her only friend, who is about to travel. To ease the pain of farewell, her friend says, "Since you're starting high school, message me as soon as you meet a guy and tell me how you met him." Yuna replies, "I've never talked to any guy in my life except Kazu, my childhood friend." Her friend responds, "You have to find your first love." At that moment, the train arrives, and Yuna bids her friend farewell and returns home. On her way back, she keeps thinking about what her friend said and starts imagining a prince who would come to her on a horse. Suddenly, she finds a guy next to her who looks exactly like the prince she was dreaming about, but not to fall in love with her. Instead, he tells her, "Watch out, don't step into the mud and fall," then walks away. Yuna arrives at the building where she lives, and just as she's entering, she hears a girl calling her. She gets scared and rushes to the elevator. But the girl catches up to her and says, "Can I ask you for a help?" It turns out the girl just needs help. She's new to the building and has lost her keys. She introduces herself and says her name is Akari. Yuna takes Akari to her room, and the two begin to talk more deeply. We know that Yuna loves reading manga and has an entire library dedicated to it. While they're talking, Kazu, Yuna's childhood friend, arrives. He also loves manga. He meets Akari and we know that they all go to the same school. Kazu tells Yuna, "I'm glad you made new friends, because everyone knows Yuna is shy and has almost no friends except for him and the friend who traveled." And indeed, Yuna seems genuinely happy to have met Akari. Days go by, and the friends spend time together until the vacation ends and the school year begins. They get ready and head to school, standing in front of the announcement board to find out their new classroom assignments. A little while later, Yuna sees the boy she met earlier in the street, and he turns out to attend the same school. Suddenly, the boy walks up to them and says to Akari, "You forgot your keys again." It turns out he's her brother, and his name is Ryo. He then looks at Yuna and says sarcastically, "Aren't you the girl who almost stepped into the mud in the street?" Then they all continue their school day. Time passes, and their first day ends. When Yuna gets home, she shows Akari a manga where the prince looks like Ryo, her brother. Coincidentally, at that very moment, Akari receives a message. After reading it, she tells Yuna, "I just broke up with my boyfriend." Yuna is shocked and asks when did that happen. Akari replies, "Just now." Yuna is surprised and says, "Aren't breakups supposed to be painful and upsetting? But you're laughing and seem happy." Akari calmly says, "It's fine," then sits down and eats a piece of cake. The next day, while Yuna is sitting in the school cafeteria, she hears two classmates talking about Akari. They say she's involved with the boyfriend of one of their classmates and that she's the reason their relationship is tense and might even end. They also mention that Akari met the guy through their part-time job. Yuna looks upset and bothered by what she heard. She feels Akari's behavior was selfish and heartless. So she decides to go home alone after school, without walking with Akari. She stands with Kazu to talk about it, and he says, "You shouldn't be upset with her without asking if what you heard is true. I saw her crying alone today." So they both go to Akari's workplace, where they see the truth. The guy is the one chasing Akari, and she's always trying to avoid him. Completely the opposite of what Yuna heard in the cafeteria. Yuna apologizes to Akari for believing the bad rumors about her. At school, Yuna tries to explain the truth to the girl involved, hoping to fix what the rumors ruined about Akari's reputation. But the girl doesn't believe her and insists that her boyfriend wouldn't lie. Then Akari arrives, apologizes to the girl, takes Yuna with her, and they walk away. Then their relationship becomes stronger and better than ever. One day, while Yuna is walking home, she runs into Ryo and feels nervous. She can't bring herself to confess her feelings to him. But Akari notices that Yuna has feelings for Ryo, so she decides to help her and comes up with a plan to bring them closer. They all agree to study together as an excuse to prepare for school, but the real goal is to give Yuna a chance to spend time alone with Ryo. Akari tells Kazu, "Let's go to the supermarket to buy some groceries," and then whispers to Yuna, "This is your chance." Yuna sits with Ryo, and they begin to prepare their books for studying. While Ryo is taking books out of his bag, Yuna notices a message getting out with books. She ignores the message and tries to talk to him, but still, she can't confess anything. At that moment, a woman arrives, who turns out to be Akari's mother. That's when we know that Akari and Ryo are half-siblings. Coincidentally, Akari arrives home as well, but she gets into a heated argument with her mother. It becomes clear that there are issues within the family. The next day, Akari apologized to Yuna for what had happened. After school ended, Akari went to a place far from home and its troubles, while Yuna and Ryo returned together. Meanwhile, Kazu met Akari, and they went out for a walk together for a while. At that time, rain began to fall, and the weather became very beautiful. As Yuna and Ryo walked together, Ryo began to tell her an important story. It started when Ryo first met Akari at school. They got to know each other and began to develop feelings for each other. One day, Akari was on her way to meet Ryo but was surprised to see her mother standing on the road with a strange man. It later turned out that this man was Ryo's father, and that he had decided to marry Akari's mother. From that moment on, Ryo and Akari agreed to act like siblings, each suppressing their feelings inside. After finishing his story, Ryo agreed with Yuna that this tale would remain a secret between them. At that moment, Yuna felt it was time to confess her feelings to Ryo, thinking it was the best moment to do so. Unfortunately, Ryo did not share the same feelings. At the same time, Kazu had taken Akari to a beautiful spot where they could see the entire city, and they enjoyed a lovely time together. On their way back home, Ryo encountered 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿, while Akari met Yuna, who was completely broken down crying because of Ryo's harsh reaction to her. The day passed, and the next day everyone returned to school, preparing to participate in the school celebration. Everyone was excited to take part. At this time, Akari seized the opportunity and invited 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿 to join them in the preparations. She was very happy when he agreed. Later, she told Yuna that she had started to feel something for 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿, and it seemed she was beginning to love him. Then Akari asked Yuna about her relationship with Ryo and whether it had progressed. Yuna replied, "Even though anyone in my place would have given up after Ryo's bad reaction when I confessed my feelings, I will not give up because I really love him." Days passed, and Ryo began to feel that Akari was developing feelings of love for 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿. This made him recall all the memories he had shared with Akari before they agreed to be siblings. One day, while returning home from work together, Ryo could no longer control himself and kissed Akari as they walked down the street. Time passed, and Akari kept thinking about what had happened. The next day, Ryo came to apologize for that incident, and she accepted his apology. Their relationship returned to how it had been. However, this incident encouraged Akari to confess her feelings to 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿, hoping this would make Ryo stop thinking about her. Indeed, she confessed her feelings to him at school, but unfortunately, the same thing happened that had happened with Yuna. 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿 lied to her and said he did not share her feelings. This was because he believed Ryo loved her and wanted to continue with her. But then something happened that completely changed the course of events. The next day at school, 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿 discovered that the girl Ryo loved was not Akari. He decided he had to fix his mistake and confess his feelings to Akari as soon as possible. The opportunity came when they all agreed to go watch a movie together, but a problem arose that caused 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿 to be late. Akari went looking for him until she overheard some teachers telling him that he had to go to Kyoto to pursue his dream of photography. At that moment, Akari felt that there would be no future chance between her and 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿, and she returned home feeling disappointed. What Akari didn't know was that 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿 was also looking for her at that time. He knows from others that she had recently returned home, so he hurried after her. He caught up with her, but unfortunately, instead of their relationship improving, circumstances made things more complicated between them. On the other side, the relationship between Ryo and Yuna began to improve significantly. Each of them started to feel deep love for the other. On a beautiful day, Ryo decided to confess his love to Yuna. You can imagine how happy Yuna was at that moment. From that day on, the two spent more time together in great happiness. Days passed like this, while Akari's problems kept increasing day by day, between family troubles caused by a broken home and disturbances in her relationship with 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿. Due to the intense pressure, she abandoned everything she had been doing and went out walking alone in the street, escaping from everyone. During this time, Akari's family called Yuna and asked her to find her friend. Indeed, Yuna went out searching for her in the city streets. While Akari was walking alone, sad, 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿 met her. But as usual, they could not reach an understanding, as neither of them knew what they wanted, nor the future of their relationship, nor the nature of their feelings. Akari continued walking alone until she reached the place where she had stood with 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿 before, under the rain. After a while, 𝐿𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐿 caught up with her and said, "I was always foolish in my thinking because I was preoccupied with my future dreams and invented excuses to stay away from you. But now I realize my dreams will not come true unless you share them with me." While returning home, they met Yuna, and all of them went back together. Akari returned to her family, who decided to learn from their mistakes and strive to be a truly connected family. They decided to celebrate Christmas together this year. Ryo also took advantage of this occasion and went to Yuna, giving her a beautiful gift. Yuna blushed deeply and was very shy, but at the same time, she was almost flying from happiness. Thus, the anime ends with everyone at the peak of happiness and harmony together. If you love romantic anime recaps or enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Aniflex 360 to support us and stay updated with our recaps. See you soon in the next video.